So good morning. I get to pick on two of my viewers, Crab and Tony. First, I'm going to take Tony's question. And Tony was considering, I hope, doing more than considering, attempting to make a 70-pound red oak sinew-backed bow that's, 68 inches long, tip to tip, which would be about 58 inches knock to knock, there and abouts, plus or minus, with a 29-inch draw. And right off the bat, you might think, well, I don't know how that can work. But really, if you engineer stuff carefully and smartly, yeah, I blanked out, you probably do it. The question is the design. And so we talk back and forth a little bit in the comment section. And I would be led to believe that the only realistic way to design a 70-pound red oak sinew-back board bow, 58 inches, there and abouts, tip or knock to knock, 29-inch draw, which is half of that length. 29 times 2 by my mathematics, 58 inches, would be a paddle bow form. It'd have to have wide limbs. It would have to have wider limbs than this 2.5 inch. You might think, well, that's an obnoxious bow. It might have a lot of wind. I'm picking on somebody else here. But the thing is, when you look at some of the very short, I'm talking short, paddle bows on the West Coast, there were bows that were 3 inches wide. Because they knew, you make them wide, you make them thin. It's almost like having, and then you get almost an extreme draw length. Because there's less bad forces taking part on the surfaces. You're actually creating multiple bows side by side that are joined like Siamese bow twins. If I was to take this bow and I was to double the limb width, it would double the weight and still make it, acceptable for that draw length. So you just make it wide, make a paddle bow. Now here's the trick though. You can get away with this with you and Osage. Having a paddle bow that's wide, then gets narrow and thick, and then, the other side wide. You can get away with that without having compression failure dead center. Because this would, if this was heavier and bent through the handle, it's realistic. You get more of a ability for a long draw length by having it bent through the handle. It would kill this wood. It would kill ash, it would kill maple, it would kill red oak. It would kill a lot of woods. But you and Osage are able to handle that. And to some degree juniper, because there were paddle bows juniper that were bent through the handle. But you have to be conscious of the draw weight. Just saying. You can see that I charred this. My neighbors must think I'm crazy on a 20-degree day barbecuing a bow. But I put it in this form. You can see it kind of bends, and I clamped the tips there to give it some reflex. I could have actually given it more reflex. I was very conservative with that. And so now I have a reflexed paddle bow that's fire hardened. Now on to a new subscriber, Crab the Caveman. Hello, Crab. You are now about to learn that I pick on viewers. And Crab's question was an excellent question because I paint bows. There's a lot of bows in the house. I got bows all over the place. He was talking about various and sundry types of bow paint to look natural. Well, I do, let's say, different types, different grades of bows. If you wanted a full-on, this is a reproduction and it has to be 100% all natural, then I would use a range of natural dyes, whether or not it would be like, easy ones off the bat would be walnut or dried dogwood berries, stuff like that there. Or time-honored charcoal. With my board bows, I offer them at a lower price, and so I'm a little freer with the pigments, and I use the little artist acrylics that I can pick up at Hobby Lobby or Walmart or any place like that, or eBay. Some things to consider is that you can make your own paint. What is paint? Paint is a pigment, a ground pigment, which can be anything that you find around your locale. Hopefully you can find Lapis lazuli, so you can grind it into blue paint. Blue is a tough one. It is a binder, which you can use egg yolk, or you can use hide glue, and it's a solvent. There's 3 parts to paint, basically. You know, the pigment, the binder, which keeps it stuck together, and the solvent. Egg yolk is a good one. Now, I wonder if the West Coast natives, making those brilliant paddle boats with all those wild colors, and some of them were wild, if they indeed used egg yolks from whatever birds they were able to get to use as binders, or they just used hide glue or sturgeon bladder glue. You can buy pigments. In fact, the pigments in artist acrylic paint, the totally unnatural stuff that I bought at Hobby Lobby, those are natural pigments. They just have a different binder, and the solvent's probably water, let's say. But it's the binder that's artificial, not the pigments. I buy white artist acrylic paint. It's ground up titanium dioxide, you know, which is a natural pigment. So those are kind of quasi-natural. It's just a question of the binder, and did you do it yourself? Wondering, because I'm blanking an old man moment. In the 1800s, they were able to buy the same laundry. It was a whitening, but it was a bluing. Blue and white is kind of a weird thing. You know, they bought the same, or traded, or were given the same laundry bluing that you can buy today. And that's a nice blue wash. Artificial, man-made, 1800s. You know, and so some of the paint jobs, especially in the eastern woodland bows and stuff like that, that had alternating little riblets of red or green or whatever, I wonder if they actually bought or traded real commercial paint. So in the 1800s, it's not out of the realm of possibilities to think that they were actually using commercial paint in some respects. They weren't just going grinding it and stuff like that, because not all colors were available, and people are drawn to colors. Just saying. What else was I going to say? I guess I said enough. Oh, better get moving here. I've got to put more water in Roger's heated water bowl in the garage here. Roger is a neighborhood stray cat, and fill his food bowl. I keep the door cracked open so Roger can get in and out. I like Roger. Roger's a good cat. Roger's a friend of mine. Need to figure out how to cut a cat door into the steel garage door anyway, so Roger can get in and out and not have wind blowing on his fuzz. That is all. Have a good one. Thank you for watching.